greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Okay. You are tuned in to another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show. You have to forgive me if things look a little bit different. I'm still on vacation, and my normal computer cameras and these things are not working right now. This is the third week. My devices have been hacked. There's lots of sabotage going on as far as our computers are concerned. And that's the usual, but again, to have constant failures for our cameras is ridiculous. So this is a little bit makeshift, and once again, I am on vacation. So anyways, I digress. We are on the third week for the Hope and Unity Conference videos. Now, this episode will be a little bit shorter, and the videos in them will be a little bit shorter as we're going to try to move along with these things. Now, there's going to be testimony from NSA whistleblower Karen Stewart, amongst others, and, well, there were some people at the conference that I will not add to my video series because I don't find them credible. One being a doctor who's an anesthesiologist who all of a sudden knows about the targeting and whatnot. Well, that's probably because he was implanting people. And the other is a guy, a well-known TI, who is selling mindware, or these pendants that are supposedly stop scalar wave attacks and mind control, and it's a total scam. None of it works. But with that said, here's a little guy, a little squirrely guy. I kind of like him. Stephen Watson, who was there reporting live at the event. So we'll go to him, and then we will go through the videos as scheduled. Thank you.
Hello, this is Stephen Watson. I'm here at the Unity of Hope. I would say it's like not a convention, but a conference here in Boston, Massachusetts. But some of the highlights or some of the things I've heard during this conference, there were a lot of speakers. So you can see behind me, there's a guy taking measurements way back there. Let's see if we walk towards this guy. He's outside the conference taking measurements. I'm real careful not to show some of the TIs. They may not want to be on camera, so I'm just showing you the building where the conference is taking place. And I'll go through some of these, some of the papers here, some of the brochures or papers that are being handed out here at the conference. You can see the little brochure I just held up. It was allegedly people with injuries from directed energy. I made the determination there is some type of government involvement in the, in this covert torture that is going on. That's kind of connected to all the mass surveillance, which is kind of disturbing. And there was also a freelance reporter from Wired. The magazine Wired. Now, Wired is interesting because there were some articles in Wired. You could go back 10 years on the pain ray, Raytheon's active denial system, the silent guardian. Directed energy is often called the silent weapon. Also saw some people here. They had like hitchhiker bags. I saw them arrive like in a Lyft car. And they had these marks all over their hands and also their feet. And they claimed it was from directed energy attacks. And, when you see these injuries up close, you're kind of taken aback by it. And they said they were followed to Hawaii. The activity, wherever they would try to move, they would see, the activity would pick up again. This is something I also experienced from going to several states, usually on vacation. But, and that's why you kind of lean towards, a government program behind this covert harassment using this directed energy technology. So I'm here talking about the conference outside of the conference building. It's like in a kind of a forested area. I forget what it's called, but kind of nice. There's like a restroom facility. There's like a shower. Some people slept here in like these little dorm rooms. I got like a Airbnb room. I came up here in a rental car from the airport. But overall, a interesting conference, and I believe it is important for targeted individuals. In order to stop this activity, mobilization is important, even if there is paranoia or disagreement amongst targeted individuals. The FBI likes to infiltrate groups, but the more people come together, the more you're not isolated. The better it is in trying to stop this activity. So I came in here not to accuse any group or accuse anybody of being an informant or being an infiltrator. I just came here to observe things, observe the conference, take notes of useful information, because some people are a little more in depth about their knowledge about what may be going on. So you're kind of humbled and seeing some of these other people who are very knowledgeable and have been targeted for a long time. All right, this is Stephen Watson at the Unity of Hope Conference right here in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hello, my name is Desiree Foley. I am a regional director for PACTS International. I'm also a targeted individual. When I say I'm a targeted individual, I want you to know I'm so much more than that. I'm a mother, a daughter, a sister, someone's best friend, and most of all, I'm a child of God. I often ask myself, how did I get here? What do I really know about normal life? I know that anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills paid, and healthy relationships. Anybody could be positive under these circumstances. The real challenge is when you get knocked down, which is really common with being a TI. Most targeted individuals have lost everything, and it's hard to have faith and hope. Derek and I aspire that we can be that hope. We want everybody to know what we do at PACTS International. We fight every day to come up with different strategies on fighting this horrific crime. I honestly think that public awareness is the only way we can get this crime to stop. But what happens when we try and explain what we are experiencing? Well, that being said, I want to take a moment to address our society today. Especially our younger generation has been socially programmed or socially conditioned, if you will, to ask ourselves, how does this information make me feel? What I mean by this is what we see, hear, read. When we read something, we are always asking ourselves, does this information make me feel happy? And if it doesn't make me feel happy, then we automatically reject it and move on. This is the wall we are running into when we're trying to educate the public. Derek has shared the history of FFCHS, now known as PACTS International, and I'm here to tell you what my role is. I interact with other targeted individuals to exchange information and develop contacts. I'm also the group leader of Arizona. I fell in this role over a year ago, but I've been the Arizona group leader since 2015, when I orchestrated a city council meeting with the city of Phoenix. I met the chief of staff, and believe it or not, we are really close and we talk almost every day. We are currently trying to find a group leader in each state. Right now, we currently have a group leader in Washington, D.C., Georgia, California, Arizona, Oregon, and Texas. We also have a technical group, which are our electrical engineers. We have board meetings once a week, and we discuss current events. We have weekly newsletters that go out in the community and have an active website. In June of this year, we became an official 501 nonprofit organization. I'm going to end with this. For certain battles to be won, those battles have to take place in the first place. You may be the only person standing while everybody is sitting. You may be the only one speaking when everyone else is silent. But you just might be that critical voice that ignites what is needed to be said. Don't hold back what it is that you have the unique ability to offer.
Well, hello. My name is Paul Marco, and I'm here with Mindy Erkin today. She's my co-worker on most of these projects, and certainly has been my co-worker on this one. We are so privileged and honored to be asked to present at the 2017 Unity and Hope Conference. I hope this starts the ball rolling on something bigger and better that gives us all, or at least all the targeted, some relief from this horrible persecution they're under.
Right. Today what we'd like to do is show you around a blog that we've created. This blog is intended to be an open source research project to collect information on techniques that work to alleviate the targeting, as well as...
and perhaps eliminate or stop the targeting.
Exactly.
It's hoped that some of these techniques could render the perps unable to collect the data that they want to collect. So they become frustrated and perhaps stop. Who knows? Stranger things have happened.
Right.
First of all, let me tell you how Mindy and I got involved in this project. We were just making normal podcasts and started interviewing a fascinating gentleman called Dr. Eric Kallstrom. Now, Eric is a targeted individual himself, and someone who doesn't take things sitting down. He decided to research and find out what he could find about what was happening to him, and find out millions of people throughout the world. So we did interviews with him, and we got more and more interested in the plight of the targeted individual. So much so that we wanted to give it some credibility. Because, you know, the problem with targeted individuals is people don't believe them. You guys obviously know that. So what we decided to do was to get together highly credible targeted individuals, get them together so that they could collaborate with one another's testimony and have them talk. Well, Mindy, purposely or accidentally, decided to make it an ongoing thing. And so the joint investigation team, which is Dr. Millicent Black, Karen Melton Stewart, Dr. Catherine Horton, and Romola D., a superb journalist, have gotten together, and we've been joining the Techno Crime Fighters Forum for about 8 months now. And we are, well, not me, I'm just kind of a narrator, but they release incredible information every week. It's mind-blowing. If you want to find out where the news is, watch Techno Crime Fighter Forum every Thursday morning, and you'll be up to date on what real weapons are and what real intentions are, and you can get out of the puppet show that's going on in the mainstream media and a lot of the alternative media, quite frankly. Well, anyway, as the Techno Crime Fighter Forum evolved, a person named Brian too popped up with some insider information about what this program was all about. In addition to that, he disclosed some techniques that targets were using to help mitigate the suffering and maybe overcome their targeting. Some of the things he mentioned was dancing, singing, distracting your mind, thinking of two things at once, I think was one of his suggestions. Well, those things sounded to Mindy and I like some work we had done, heavy-duty work we had done on consciousness studies 10 years before. And we knew hundreds of techniques that have been used down through the ages to concentrate, to focus the mind, focus multiple intentions so that you can be doing several things at once that confuse the perpetrators. So what we decided to do is to put together a blog, and the blog is pineconeutopiaportal.wordpress.com. pineconeutopiaportal.wordpress.com. Now there you'll find a bunch of things, and Mindy's going to go into it in depth in a minute. But it was mostly set up to house an ongoing open source investigation. You know, their side works on secrecy, our side works on open source, so that we are housing this blog so that people who are using some of these techniques can tell other TIs what techniques they're using that are effective. And also we're contributing some of our research in consciousness studies to suggest other techniques. And actually we're having good luck. So why don't we show them the blog?
All right, let's take a tour.
Okay.
Okay, here we are at the home page of the Pinecone Utopia portal, and this is what the portal is basically all about.
Right. I wrote this to kind of signal what we're doing, and then she'll show you the different aspects. I wrote, in many instances, the selected TIs feel trapped like lab rats, being tortured in a maze with no hope for reprieve or escape. Ostensibly, this torture exists for the purpose of mapping the brain to incorporate the intellect of the selected into the conscious computer's hive mind. This process can only take place, however, when the selected operates in a lower vibrational state, one characterized by fear, anxiety, and pain, for example. Also, let me throw this in, guilt, remorse, and all those, they use those also. Many of the selected have found relief through employing techniques that lift them into higher vibrational states, such as love, caring, compassion, and focused enjoyment. This blog intends to provide resources for the selected and other humans to explore the possibility of finding relief through this tactic. The blog is divided into 3 parts, and I'll let Mindy take it from here.
All right, research techniques and tape discussions. The research area includes an open source area where techniques already employed by the selected can be logged, commented on, and expanded upon by others. Submission of techniques can be made through pineconeutopiaportal@gmail.com. The techniques area houses a depository of approaches, some old, some new, and some yet to be tried. Teaching modules are included in this area. The discussion area includes an archive of live tape recordings of a podcast entitled Surfing the Portal, and other talks in which techniques and concepts related to the escape from torture are considered. And new to the portal, we've added some new categories to the menu to share and present more information that does not fall into the 3 parts mentioned above. Please share your thoughts and contributions in the comment sections provided below the various posts. We thank you for your ongoing participation. So let's visit the different sections just to familiarize you with what we've got going on.
Now this will be, this is what we have so far. Probably if you're hearing this presentation and you go to the blog, there'll be more complete research. There'll be things added. We add things every week.
That's right.
Or you add things every week, I should say. Okay.
Right, our open source investigation. Welcome to our open source investigation. Posted below are writings from our community of what we will refer to as the selected, but many may be more familiar with as targeted individuals, or TIs. These suggestions and testimonials come from the heart and are offered as potential solutions. May we suggest that your belief wardrobes be left in the closet as you try on new ideas, or garments if you will, to see if they offer relief regardless of your religious or philosophical underpinnings. We're searching together for the way or ways out of the torture dilemma.
Yeah, some of these are Eastern, some of them are very Western, so let's just skip through a few of these.
All right. Where would you like to start?
One of the first ones that came in was from Naomi E. Valentin, and I've corresponded with her on this a lot. She's offering a technique. It's mindfulness meditation and what it is. And not only is she tells a little bit about her targeting, she also talks about the technique itself. And she's sent in some resource videos so you can learn to do that. Matter of fact, we're going to do that. We're going to try to do that with all of them. Mm-hmm. Another one is listening to frequencies to break the brain entrapment. Focused jitter vibration by Brian Wilcox. Very interesting technique. Ideas from the Bible by Glenda Whiteman. Mindfulness is the Only Solution by Will Glover. And you can see there are others right here. Humor and Sarcasm and Healing Frequencies by Ortain Devian. He's a very interesting individual and has contributed some things to the blog. And this is ongoing. Right now we have 14. Probably by the time you get this, we'll have 24. Mm-hmm. So that's the research.
Right. And each one of these links to some writing by the individual that contributed it, and generally has a link to some kind of a teaching to show you how it's actually done. All right, let's move along, shall we, to techniques. Okay, so this page you'll encounter new entries for videos, interview discussions, articles, book suggestions, teaching various modalities and techniques.
Now, I will tell you that these aren't necessarily submitted by TIs, and there's nothing written by a TI saying that they've used these techniques and they're working.
Well, some of them overlap.
Except of them.
Right. For example, this breathing techniques for focus and relief from suffering is a teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh, quite a well-known
which is the one
teacher on mindfulness training, and that will link you to a video with him teaching this method.
But my point was that if you're looking for techniques that are used now, go to the research. And if you're contributing something, we'll put it on the research. But these other techniques, we're collecting them also from our past and other people. We interview people and they have techniques. So you'll find those here. Another thing that we're thinking about doing is we're going to review one of these every week and maybe talk about it on the Surfing the Portal, which is a weekly broadcast connected with this thing that we do.
Technique of the week.
The technique of the week. That's right.
Right.
Now, because there were other things that don't fit into these categories, Mindy started inventing other categories because the information is so valuable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For example, shielding. Shielding, as you know, is of utmost concern to everyone in the program. So these are contributions from the community of shielding tips that have worked for them. Often with, details of where you can pick these things up. For example, this quilted ironing pad, magnetic. This really quite helps Pamela, who submitted that entry. And let's see, transducers and energy weapons antidote shared. And you scroll through here, you'll see some videos and some dialogue on shielding techniques. So really useful stuff there. The discussion, as we mentioned before, houses the Surfing the Portal episodes that that we have recorded, and then we move along to other worthwhile discussions and presentations. And here's an interview that we just did this week with Dr. Robin Kelly, who wrote into us saying that he uses many of the techniques we've mentioned with his patients. He's an MD and also works with some
PTSD.
Eastern
And he's
medicine
Eastern-
techniques like
And also Western. He's an
acupuncture.
allopathic doctor. He also has, volunteered, or I volunteered him, I don't know which one, but he said he would help us with this portal and contributing and thinking of things, and
Yes.
any contribution he makes will be well worthwhile. It's an interesting interview, by the way, if you haven't heard.
Really remarkable man.
Yeah.
And we feel very privileged that he's reached out to us to help us with this.
General
All right.
discussion from the community?
Sure, let's go there. All right, general discussion from the community, and here we have posted some letters that people have actually written to us with great suggestions and comments. Really worthwhile, and we wanted to share it with the entire community because people reach out to us since we seem to be, what can
We
I
can
say?
provide like a poll, like a blog, like somewhere to go, something that's going to be there, until they can't put up with us any longer.
So in any case, these things are shared, and when you contribute to us, you are certainly welcome to say, I'd like to contribute anonymously, and we'll, not post your name and contact information. But some wonderful, wonderful contributions here, and well worth taking the time to read through. And, we are updating it weekly, daily when we can, and the more information that comes in, the more that will be provided here on the blog, as well as what we can contribute from our past
Yeah,
experience.
well, we're building a resource, and I would hope that someday, after we get enough of these, that we can find patterns and maybe come up with a hypothesis. If you're getting targeted this way, this is a judo technique or a counter technique that seems to work, or this works for some people, this works for other people, so we can get some idea of what they're doing and how our counter is actually affecting them. So that's Pinecone Utopia Portal blog, and it's for you. Well, the blog, as you would suspect, is growing. Week by week, we're learning so much about what's going on, and you can learn that too just by visiting the blog. There's a lot of things that you say, well, how could that possibly work? Well, give it a shot, give it a try. It's working for, if it's under the research section, it's working for somebody. So I would suggest, if you probably are a target, if you have targeted friends, or you have people who are interested in targeted individuals, make sure they're aware of this resource for them. PineconeUtopiaPortal.wordpress.com. This is for them. We're maintaining it for you guys. Well, also for us. We're learning a lot. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you so much for inviting us to present to your conference, and our hearts are with you all.
Always. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm B from the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, and I'm here to deliver a message to you. I am standing up, and I think you guys should stand up too. What are we standing up for? Clean air. The New World governments have been spraying aluminum, strontium, barium, all kinds of nanoparticulates, salts, heavy metals, and we are losing our environment. We have trees with aluminum toxicity. Our wildlife is disappearing, one species at a time. We have weather warfare weaponry. If there is anything such as global warming, well, we have ionospheric heaters that's dramatically bombarding our atmosphere. All this damage can be done to the environment by these nanoparticulates being sprayed into the atmosphere. We know that it's causing respiratory issues. We know that it's causing autism. We know that it's causing Morgellons, the transhumanistic disease. What else is it doing? I think it may just be altering our minds. Watch my movie, and then you decide.
Hello everyone, this is Karen Stewart, and I'm hoping that this conference goes very well, and I do apologize that I cannot be there. There are lots of things going on that that really just basically don't allow me to come, but I am so very sorry because I would love to have been there, and I would like to have met so many of you, or if not every one of you in person that I've been speaking with for a while. So I hope to do that at some point in time. I hope to meet most of you in person, but I do ask your forgiveness that I could not attend this time. Now, instead of telling my story, which is, it's already out there, and frankly I'm kind of sick of telling it, except that it does at times give us an open door so that other stories can come out. So, my dog is nuzzling me. Okay, baby. But here's, he's gonna lick me. All right, hey Dash. Okay, nope, can't see him. All right, there he is. You wanna see? Okay, there you go, baby. All right, well, like I said, I'm kind of sick of my story. So what I thought I would do is read something to you called What is the Lie? Which I tell people more or less wrote itself. Okay, well, I'm going to begin before my dog disrupts me again. All right, what is the lie? Thousands upon thousands of targeted individuals, better described as falsely accused innocent people, are being illegally used, human trafficked, as techno-chum to feed the growing voracious Orwellian police state. Through legalistic sleight of hand by Homeland Security, this ruse is really to not only bloat the number of perceived terrorists on the watch list, to validate the hypergrowth of unnecessary security overlords, but also to provide unwilling, non-consensual human test subjects for draconian electronic or kinetic weaponry manufacturers to use on them, as well as subjects for unwelcome, covert, invasive technologies forced upon them secretly by complicit medical and high-tech companies that maim, torture, kill to gather data for presumably their stockholders or clients as to the efficacy of these Franken technologies. These techno-terrorists consider citizens' property, damaged or diseased citizens as gold mines, and healthy citizens as worthless unless appropriated for use as guinea pigs. The victims who have been blindsided by this emergent godless capitalism and godless science predation in what will be known as the 21st century dark ages inevitably ponder what the lie could possibly be that is being told to induce neighbors, colleagues, service people, post office workers, utility workers, clergy, law enforcement, nurses, doctors, dentists, military, EMTs, family members, et al., to knowingly conspire to purposely do them grievous harm, even unto death. What has happened to these now counterfeit people, this society, to turn them into sneaky, sociopathic sadists and avaricious and relentless mercenaries? How has this complete devolution of humanity and civilization been accomplished under the noses of almost every country in the world, with no one noticing that civilization is now a complete facade, ready to collapse at any moment into complete anarchy? How did humanity devolve into deriving economic sustenance not from creativity, labor, and production, but from a secret predator versus prey society reminiscent of the Morlock and Eloi in H.G. Wells' Time Machine, where futuristic humanity had split into two factions, the subterranean beasts living underground, out of the light of day, and the beautiful innocent Eloi living on the surface of the earth, who a hapless time traveler from the 19th century London stumbled upon in his travels. To his horror, he found that the Morlock were farming the Eloi, providing food while keeping them ignorant of how to sustain themselves, then violently harvesting several routinely to feed the Homo carnivorous Morlock. Under the guise of Homeland Security, aka national security, this is being done with the world's population right now. Under the noses of the public, which is largely asleep, though many through self-induced denial, which can be quite aggressively expressed if challenged with facts. This rampant self-denial, this rabid normalcy bias of a dying society, which can be defined as the antithesis of the self-preservation instinct, can manifest as insulting and belittling those trying to warn society of or even portraying them as mad and dangerous and in need of being locked away to get them and their really inconvenient truth out of the public arena as quickly as possible. Those busy dancing on the deck of the Titanic refuse to acknowledge, much less heed, the voices crying in the wilderness, though they are increasing in volume because they are indeed increasing in number, which signifies the spread of this cancer that ultimately endangers all. What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to help a rogue government illegally and unconstitutionally attack and destroy their innocent neighbors, even with covert, highly advanced weapons of war, directed energy weapons, sonic weapons, such as used in Cuba in 2017? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to trample the Constitution, civil and human rights of their innocent neighbors without cause, or that they, not being law enforcement, have any right to be involved at all? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have the right to overtly or covertly watch, follow, stalk, harass, report on the daily lives of their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to spread lies, gossip, false accusations, unfounded accusations, or libel about their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make decent people think that they have a right to vandalize the property, vehicles, personal effects, etc. of their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposed decent people think that they have a right to steal, maim, poison, gut, stab, shoot their beloved pets of their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to break into the homes of their neighbors and destroy or steal personal items like photo albums, correspondence, irreplaceable souvenirs of the innocent neighbor's life in order to inflict as much emotional damage as possible? What is the lie that would make supposed decent people think that they have a right to participate in coordinated aggressive driving attacks or staged accidents or hit and runs on their innocent neighbors, scaring, injuring, or killing them? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to make false reports to law enforcement about their innocent neighbors anytime they can think of a false accusation? What is the lie that would make supposed decent people think that they have the right to make threatening phone calls or send threatening emails or letters to their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to leave dead and decaying animals on the property of their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to steal or destroy the postal mail, packages, parcels, registered letters, FOIA or FOIA responses of their innocent neighbors with or without the help of postal workers or private delivery services? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to use the personal information of their innocent neighbors to access their bank accounts or credit cards for personal gain? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to poison the food or drink with toxins, mold, nanotech, or morgellons of their innocent neighbors, either via break-ins or tampering or with the preparation of restaurant food? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to overtly or covertly spray their innocent neighbors or their homes with poisons and noxious chemicals? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to use their professional skills and status as service industry personnel, such as car mechanics, plumbers, electricians, banking staff, or public servants, such as city, local officials, to trample the rights of their innocent neighbors by purposely providing sometimes dangerously substandard or blatantly fraudulent services? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have the right to abuse the law in their capacity as law enforcement, lawyers, district attorneys, prosecuting attorneys, defense attorneys, judges, clerks, etc.? As a means to slander, set up, falsely incarcerate, oppress, and destroy their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to use their medical training and positions to not only covertly implant unneeded and unwanted medical chips and other medical devices, but to also sabotage medical tests results, replace correct assessments with false, switch x-rays, MRIs, PET scans to hide the physical damage being done to their innocent neighbors in order to disallow proper care until it's too late, as well as cover up grievous criminal injury and ultimately murder? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to use their training as mental health care professionals to lie about their innocent neighbors or clients, imagining being ridiculed, bullied, viciously slandered, unconscionably harassed 24/7, as well as emotionally and physically injured, to include rape and sodomy? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to sabotage their innocent neighbor's ability to get and retain a job or career? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have a right to monetary and material gain through heinous and criminal abuse of their innocent neighbors? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that they have the moral high ground to viciously exploit and destroy their innocent neighbors through every crime possible, while somehow excusing it with baseless fantasy accusations against their innocent neighbors, whom they have never witnessed do anything wrong, much less depravedly criminal like their own sustained actions? What is the lie that would make supposed decent people think that they can hide their crimes behind treasonous criminal officials and unconstitutional laws forever? What is the lie that would make supposedly decent people think that their heretofore unimaginable crimes of hive-minded depravity will be considered patriotic or heroic, or that they will go down in history as anything but subhuman monsters whose existence was little more than that of a devolved, parasitic, and cannibalistic counterfeit human mutation that was universally reviled and exterminated as soon as possible by an outraged and horrified moral force within humanity proper, which finally awakened to the plight of their innocent neighbors and recognized the nearly completed extinction-level event. So, like I said, this is something that was rolling around in my head and kind of just wrote itself. I hope that people may find it useful. You certainly are welcome to copies of it. I have given it to Allison, and I would be more than happy to send it to anyone who emails me. And I think that's an email that's pretty well known, but it is kams56@me.com. And if you would like a copy, I will be more than happy to send it to you. Like I said, I hope it's of use to anybody who actually wants a copy. And I'm hoping that you may be able to wake up people with this, and with many other things that people have written. So I do wish you well, and I personally think that this is going to be exposed and over in the next few months. I am hoping before 2018, but in my heart I really believe it's before 2019, and we're probably 6 months, within 6 months or so of having this exposed, I hope. Because we have had some breakthroughs. I've been told by a naval commander that retired naval commander, that he's well aware of what's going on. So that gives me hope, and I ask him to please spread the word among military and retired military, and to remind them of their oaths to protect the country against domestic terrorists as well, domestic enemies. And whoever thinks that this is legal to do, I'm sorry, but the Constitution and all kinds of laws say that no, it's not. And I repeat myself when I say that Marbury versus Madison was a Supreme Court decision that early on challenged whether a law could be passed in the United States or on U.S. territory that actually contradicted the Constitution. Well, the Supreme Court took 10 years to study everything that any of the founders had written to assess their thoughts on this, their intentions. And after 10 years, Marbury versus Madison was decided that any law that was passed that was contrary to the Constitution is void. So all of these directives, rules, regulations, post 9/11 laws that go contrary to the Constitution, they are void. But we just have to now convince people to actually act within the Constitution and stop allowing this to be a post-Constitution America. Because a post-Constitution America is a dead America. It's gone, it's over, and humanity won't come back from it. But I think that basically they picked on the wrong people. And those people are you and me and all of the rest of us. So that's something to tell your children, your grandchildren, is that you turn back the tide that would have destroyed humanity. So you guys have a wonderful conference, and take heart, because so many people are working so very hard, and there are cracks forming in this cover story. So you guys take care. God bless. Love you all. Okay? Bye-bye.
It's time to wake up! Time to put an end to the corrupt system in the government! Time to realize that they only trying to destroy us! Poison our foods and water with deadly chemicals! Starting wars and attacking the minds of the people psychologically! It's time to stand up and fight for what is our right! Freedom! This is it, it's time to wake up and fight against the government. They lying and stealing and killing us quickly and laughing and really they loving it. It's never a truth, nothing but lies, straight to the brain and shoving it. Controlling your life and everything in it, your freedom is gone, they fucking it. It's really a shame, they're playing the game, listen to watch how they playing it. Don't follow the lies, look at the skies, chemicals killing, they spraying it. They say that I should have, but fucking I'm gonna, so fuck what they say, I'm saying it. Illuminati is running this world and killing it, nothing is saving it. It's time to stand up and fight, to rise against these secret societies. The skull and bones, the bit of a group, the shadows and other varieties. They're killing us off, extermination is coming and doing it privately. But I am exposed to these visions, these cowards, these demons, they never will quiet me. I'm sick of the system and sick of the secrets, I'm sick of the people who's backing it. No matter the places you go or the calls you make, the government's tracking it. Show me the face of the one who's running the show and I promise I'm smacking it. Illuminati, your plans are done, cause I am coming attacking it. Illuminati, Illuminati, your acts are unforgivable. The things you've done, the wars you started, the lies unforgettable. Now that we know who you are and know what you're doing, we think it's pitiful. And we the people are coming for you, and yes, we're gonna get rid of you. Illuminati, Illuminati, your acts are unforgivable. The things you've done, the wars you started, the lies, unforgettable. Now that we know who you are and know what you're doing, we think it's pitiful. And we the people are coming for you, and yes, we're gonna get rid of you. 9/11, we know it was you. You used the news to cover up. Blaming some terrorists, you were the terrorist. This is the planet you're fucking up. Using the weather with weapons, tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, and other stuff. We're killing the schools, we knew it was you with Sandy Hook. Now what the fuck? The lies you telling, the lies you selling is bullshit, and I am not buying it. You're trying to kill us, you're trying to own us. You know that there is no denying it. We know what you got. Know you can see us with all of the shit she's buying with, but you won't prevail. You're going to hell for even just thinking of trying it. What you've been hearing is singing the lies. People wake up to the lies. They don't know what you alive. Those in the skies ruling your life, taking away all your rights, causing a fight, seizing the night. These demons I bring to the light, I really dislike and want them to fry. I'm hoping my people will rise, open your eyes, see the demise. To them you're nothing but flies, nothing but mice, not even alive. It's time to stand up and fight, let us unite, starting tonight. Ready to take back our rights, take back our lives and crumble the rise. Illuminati, Illuminati, your acts are unforgivable. The things you've done, the wars you started, the lies, unforgettable. Now that we know who you are and know what you're doing, we think it's pitiful. And we the people are coming for you, and yes, we're gonna get rid of you. Illuminati, Illuminati, your acts are unforgivable. The things you've done, the wars you started, the lies, unforgettable. Now that we know who you are and know what you're doing, we think it's pitiful. And we the people are coming for you, and yes, we're gonna get rid of you. And yes, we're gonna get rid of you. We're gonna get rid of you. Yes, we're gonna get rid of you.
Beneath this mask there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.